your fingers. I feel like we're just preparing for January of 2025. I want to give a little bit of an end-of-the-year summary for 2025 for the Madison Church. I'm going to read a scripture that I feel like you may not think it's quite, I don't know. I feel like it reflects us in a lot of ways. In Acts chapter 2, verses 42 through 47, it's the verse right after the first 3,000 people were added to their number that day. They got baptized, and the church was just starting, and Jesus is risen from the dead, and the Holy Spirit's been poured out, and you've got all these new Christians, and it says, they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to the fellowship, to the breaking of bread and to prayer. Everyone was filled with awe at the many wonders and signs that were performed by the apostles. All the believers were together and had everything in common. They sold property and possessions to give to anyone who had need. Every day they continued to meet together in the temple courts. They broke bread in their homes, ate together with glad and sincere hearts, praising God and enjoying the favor of all the people, and the Lord added to their number daily those who were being saved. Right? This is just a group of people. They didn't know much. They didn't even have Bibles to read. They didn't have, websites to go to. They just were getting taught by the apostles and trying to memorize some sayings that the apostles were saying. These were the words of Jesus, and they're passing it on. They're praying, and they're hanging out a lot together, eating a lot of meals, right? And while they're doing that, God is blessing them as a group of people. God's adding new people. They're living in a sense of peace. I really believe our church functions a lot in that way. We do this, a lot of the same things. We live devoted to God as best we can. And let's be honest, sometimes we don't even live devoted to God as best we can. Can I get an amen to being honest on that one? Right? But we try. We're making the best out of our situation to the best that we know. We're going forward. And God has just done amazing things among our church this year. God has blessed them. I feel like the one thing that I love to highlight is our amazing community, just because it is the thing that we get most familiar with. And if you're not careful, you can even get critical of it if you get a little too comfortable with it. But our community is amazing. People come in all the time. They're like, man, these are friendly people. When Tyler got baptized, his family was saying to me, he's like, our mom was saying, I think people here are actually friends with each other. I've never seen that. I've never seen that in a church. I had a woman just on Sunday came up to me and said, I've been here twice. She's like, I can't believe I don't feel judged here. This is like the most amazing place in the world for me to be. People talk, I think it was Josh Smith's dad said, this is the most energetic group of human beings I've ever come across. And I'm like, man, this is just midweek, man. We're not even showing out here. We had a couple who came to church. They were studying the Bible, and they didn't agree with our doctrine. And as they were leaving, they came to church, actually, just to tell me, hey, we just can't buy the doctrine of it. You got to get baptized to be saved. But then they said, you know what, by the way, we've been to a lot of churches. This is the best church we've ever been to. And I'm like, that seems really strange that you're leaving. But anyway, hey, you're going. We're on a journey. We're all on a journey. Anyway, what's familiar with us can sometimes get unappreciated. But God has blessed our church and our community in an amazing way. Yes, people who don't have anywhere to go for Thanksgiving all go over to the Gallus's house. They get some community there. It's just always available. We have had many new people this year be baptized. Mira, Jesus, Jana, Mikey, Carissa, Tyler, even Coyote and Lindsay were baptized earlier this year. Coyote got baptized, and his wife got baptized in San Diego. Then she got a job in Chicago, and then now they're living together in Chicago, which every married couple should be. But anyway, they're doing great. They're both in the church now, and ironically, they're in the same North region that went through the drama that we were talking about before. But all these great stories of people who are just kind of going along in life, who changed their focus, and now they're like wanting to try to live for God instead of live for themselves. They're in that battle. It's amazing that God has done that. We've got 3 super cool marriages this year. We've got Chris and Tiffany, Jim and Jose, Kisak and Emma. I mean, boom. That's awesome, man. That's some great love right there. That's one of the highlights of my year was listening to Chris do the sermon at his own wedding. It was so good. I was like, I didn't know Chris had all that conviction, man. He was just right on point. And I didn't have to do anything. It's great. I wasn't even doing the wedding, so it was even better. Bunch of new children. We have a new mission team leader couple this year, Craig and Sue. They're leading. Whole new mission team. And all these things they're happening. God is blessing the work that we're doing. So maybe some of you aren't involved in the things that I'm mentioning, but then yes, you are. You're here in church, you're praying, and I really do. We all have personal victories that we get with God, but I want you to feel the victory of the community, of just working together all year long. I mean, we had 10 people move out this year, and there were 10 like solid members of the church. Over 10% of our church just up and moved away. What the heck is going on around here? But anyway, but we didn't feel it. Like God just kept blessing it. Because it's not about the people, it's about God. And you're in a place and you're living in a way where that's what's happening. I haven't mentioned yet like how incredibly generous the congregation is. It's just financially generous. So I'm going to have Matt Myers come up, and he's going to share a little bit about that and share. Boom, we got it. It's working even. Thank you, Josh, for getting that to work.
You guys know for 3 years I could not get up on this side of the stage. So when I saw the baptism sitting here tonight, my first thought was, oh my gosh, I've not tried yet. So I was so glad. Like 3 years ago, I got up on that side of the stage and grabbed that microphone stand to save myself, and Marcy thought I was teeling over. I thought I was going over for sure. So that was exciting. All right, so I'm going to give a quick presentation about our financial board. So, isn't that exciting? Man, woo! Yeah, I give the good stuff. Oh, I got the clicker here. Look at that. I went the wrong way. All right. So let me tell you about the financial board, because people get confused by this sometimes. The financial board is exactly what it is. It's a financial board. We're in charge of financial policies and procedures. We're here to make sure that we are spending our money the right way, that we're doing it within government standards, that we're not allowing anything to not be above board, all that kind of stuff. We're in charge of seeing the financial reporting. We're extremely blessed in that area. Many of you remember Calvin Singh. Some of you probably don't. But Calvin left, 2 years ago? He still does our financial reporting for us every month, free of charge. You got to love Calvin, free of charge. Now, I said it was just because he wanted to attend the meeting is why he does it, but he still does that for us. And Mr. Tufts, John Tufts back there, writes our checks every month for us, free of charge. So I tried to get him to use his account, but he didn't seem interested in that part of it. But yes, he does that for us, so thank you very much, John. We're in charge of making sure our staff is paid correctly, that we are staying within standards across the industry and trying to do that. Make sure our health insurance is all the good and all that kind of stuff. We give Tom and I guess myself actually kind of help come up with ideas, but we give the financial backing for it, and we look at a budget for the year. So what our financial board is at, we do that. We're not ecclesiastical. That's not our size of the duties, but that's just wanted to make sure you knew that. You might want to know, well, who's on the financial board? Rachel Mail is on there. Matt Myers is on there. Zach is on there. All right. Way to go, Zach. Ben Solinsky is on there. And we actually do have one open seat right now that we haven't filled. So when Daniela had a baby, her two babies actually, right? She decided that she needed to take a little time off. So we actually do have an open seat right now. Each of us serve for 2 years. And after 2 years, we get in front of the congregation and if we want to continue on, we get reaffirmed. So you guys, it's not a voting, it's not really an election. If we have one open seat, we put one person in front of you. We don't put 7 of you out there and let people campaign. So it's a thing. So let me tell you about what our finances look like now. This is January through October. So this is actuals, January through October. We don't have November financials. We meet next week, I think, and get November financials, so they're not quite there yet. When Tom said that our congregation is very giving, that is extremely true. I've worked on the financial board for several years, did it many, many years ago as well. It's impressive to see where our church is in giving. Our contribution this year was $326,235. And our expenses are about $315,000. So we are a little bit in the black right now, which is really fantastic, and I'm going to show you how we do that. You know, my dad used to tell me, because my dad was very financially, extremely smart. And my dad said, you know, Matt, what you do when you look at what you spend money on, he says, whatever you're spending money on is what's important to you. That's how you know in your life. And so I always like to look at our budget and say what really matters to us. And so 61% of our expenses are spent on staffing. That covers their salaries, that covers their health insurance, FICA, all that kind of stuff. So 61% of the money we bring in covers that. And then 20% of it gives us this facility, which is really, really awesome. So that's what 81%, right? So that leaves us a little bit left that we get to do special events on, bring in speakers, have Kids Kingdom, have campus ministries, do all kinds of other stuff. But the majority of our money is spent on very basic things. So where does our contribution come from? First is a weekly contribution, which is our biggest number, $250,027, an average of $5,600 a week came in this year, which is incredible. Very, very. I would like to walk around and thank each of you. You know, there's only like 87 of us, so I probably can't. But I really do appreciate you guys. Then we're extremely blessed. The Madison Missions Alliance gives us money each year to help us with our campus ministry and that kind of stuff. And actually, it's $48,000 a year. Right now, we've gotten $24,000 of that. And so we've gotten $24,000 from that. And then special contribution is $45,000 that came in. And 50% of special contribution goes to the European Missions Alliance. So that helps out Ukraine, which is extremely in need right now. 20% of that goes to the Midwest Missions Alliance, which you'll see we gave them last year 20% of our $45,000, and we got back from them $48,000. So we were very blessed by the Madison Missions Alliance this last couple years, actually. And 30% of the $45,000 stays right here at home and helps us with our duties here at home. So that's that. We did have somebody that gave $508 to our Source of Staff Fund donation, and then miscellaneous income. That could be special events, probably the barn thing, anything that we have that we kind of gather extra activity. That's where that $6,200 comes from. Excitingly, I only have one more slide. It says thank you. So, honestly, if you have any questions about the board, here's the reality. I can show you everything. I mean, I can give you a budget. I can show you line by line. It'll be a really fun night. We'll get together. Derek took me out for Indian food last night. We could go out for Indian food. I had a new food palette idea. So, but yeah, we feel always free to ask me any questions. Ask anybody on the board any questions. But that just kind of gives you a general overview of it. That's all I got.
Boom. There you go. Alrighty. So far, we've just been really, for lack of a better way of saying it, we've been counting our blessings. Just seeing the things that God's been doing in 2025. What I want to do is just share a little bit about what we plan on doing in 2026. The first thing I want to, maybe you've heard of it from other churches, or maybe you've been in another church that was doing this, but we're going to do Thread. You're like, wow. Okay, a couple people were like, oh, yeah, that's exciting. And by the way, we talked this all through with the Myers, and we talked it through with the mission team leaders on Sunday. Here's what Thread is. I'm going to read what it says on their website. It says, and then I'm going to tell you in layman's terms. Thread is a unified, immersive platform combining a weekly podcast, a resource-rich app for your members, and a leadership portal that equips you with the tools to guide your church with clarity and consistency. In layman's terms, it's a long-term guide through the Bible with a bunch of resources that are really useful to the church. These resources include, what do we have here? You've got the podcast. So there's a podcast. Dave Pacta, Hannah D'Souza do a podcast. They really started doing it after Bema got popular. They wanted to do something that was maybe similar to that, but a little bit more, associated with our churches. So anyway, they did that, but it's also at the same pace as the Thread program. So if we have a sermon from week 1 of Thread, then you've got the podcast. You also have daily devotionals on the app if you want to use them. There's also Kids Kingdom lessons that go in the same, it keeps the theme the same in all the different areas of the church, including your mission team. If you would like to do it, you can download the lesson for the mission team on that week. So anyway, there's just resources to keep the same idea throughout the week, and to help people to be able to be like, okay, I don't know what to study this week in my Bible. Boom, I can get on the Thread app and I can find the very thing that was associated with the lesson that I heard on Sunday. So anyway, just for full transparency, it costs $24 a member per year. So that's about $2,000. It's not really that much, but you're clicked in, you're in the Thread community. There's all kinds of special things that come along with this. I don't really know all the special things yet, but we will find them out, won't we? But anyway, it's something new as well. Sometimes when you go through church, you just need something new, something different, a fresh look in the things that we're doing. So why do we do it? We're just taking an opportunity to take advantage of extra resources to help all of us with our walk with God. To me, each person's walk with God and their connection with God is what really is important to me. I really want to make sure every single person in the church is able to personally connect with God. Church is not, there is a lot about the people and there's a lot about this other stuff, but man, down at the most important level, it's about each person maintaining and strengthening and growing in their connection with God. Then the next thing we plan on having a robust schedule this year, not this week. Well, a robust. I spent a long time coming up with that word, robust. Anyway, it's a fun word. But anyway, we do that, so we have plenty of events. You look back and there's like Boat Day, and there was Trunk or Treat, and then there was Good Friday Banquet, and all the different things that we do. Sometimes people are like, man, that's just too much. I always want to remind people, you don't have to come, right? We want you to come, but you don't have to. Like, God doesn't want us to be compelled to do things. God's not pressuring us into doing anything. We want to come because we want to be there, and it's a way that we can live out our Christianity. On top of our relationship with God, the second most important thing is our connection with each other. I really believe all the activities that we do, and we put them out there, and we prepare for them, and we do them, and it takes a lot of work. It sets the stage for you to build a history with the people that are next to you in these chairs. It also gives you an opportunity to live out the love that you're called to live out in the Bible because you're around people all the time. It would be real easy, and it can be real easy to just want to be at home and do things at home and just be quiet and be comfortable. But we have a robust schedule for that reason. The next thing we're going to do this year is we have a new Hope partnership. So Hope will have the Lincoln partnership, and then Hope will have the partnership with the Healing House. But Hope has also got a new partnership with a place called Lacey Gardens. Have you heard of Lacey Gardens? It's a big garden where they grow food. specifically to be able to give away healthy produce to homeless people. One of the problems if you're homeless or you're financially in dire straits, it's so hard to find healthy food. Healthy food actually costs significantly more than really cheap processed foods. So people have a hard time finding good quality food if they're in a homeless situation. So the Lacey Gardens, they employ volunteers to take care of the garden. It's apparently a large garden. I've never been there, and it's a farm. Okay, Dan was saying, man, farming stuff is hard. He went and volunteered once, and apparently it left an impression on him. But anyway, we're gonna do a whole partnership this year as well with the Lacey Gardens. We're gonna get out there. We're gonna get our hands in the dirt, and we're gonna be raising a crop. We will be raising a crop with God's help, of course. And then finally, we're gonna continue with Hometown Missionary. I just want to put that out there for you. When we get together for Hometown Missionary, it's on Saturday at 4 p.m. We talk a little bit about evangelism, inspire each other. It keeps it on our heart, the fact that there's a world full of people who do not have God. And it keeps it on our heart. We talk about it, and I think it's very encouraging. Everybody loves to be a part of it. And then we'll have a lesson maybe on studying the Bible with somebody. And then we actually practice studying the Bible with each other, right there in the meeting. And the idea is that the reason it's been ongoing, or instead of just a 6-week course and then you're good, is because it really takes a long time to develop a missionary's heart. It takes time after time. So anyway, if you've been feeling like, gosh, I want to do something for the lost world, I want to really figure out, I want to be able to be equipped to study the Bible with my neighbor or somebody at work, think about joining Hometown Missionary. It's not closed. Everybody's invited to be a part of it. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Now, why do we do these things? Again, as I said, your relationship with God, your relationship with each other, our love for the people in the world that are so desperately in need. We just want to keep it at the front of our hearts while we continue to learn and grow in our relationship with God. Okay, I got a couple numeric goals, though, for the Madison Church Christ. Are you ready for these? A couple numeric goals. Okay, actually, one numeric goal in 2 different categories. The numeric goal is 100% participation. I want to get everybody involved in 2 things. Get everybody in the church. This is going to be my mission. I'm going to work it. I'm going to really work it hard. I've got some spreadsheets already being developed. But I want to get 100% of the people in the church in a Bible study. Where even if you're just sitting there, you don't even have to take the notes. You're just in the Bible study. You're looking, or maybe you get a chance to read a scripture or have a conversation. That's the goal, 100% participation in a Bible study. We're going to work on that. And then the other thing is 100% participation in helping with hope, that we would figure out a way to serve our community. It takes sometimes, and I can take kind of a passive mindset towards it, like, hey, if Hope's got something for me, maybe I'll step up and do something. But I think God wants us to have a little bit more heart and put a little bit more into the game. Like, man, I want to look for those opportunities to be able to help. I want to look for those opportunities to serve. And I think it's just the kind of heart that God would want us to have. So that's our exciting numeric goals for 2026. I do have a specific financial goal. Matt talked about our giving. And you may say, well, gosh, aren't we already giving great? And I'm going to say, yes, we're giving fantastic. And I'm hoping that those of you who give consistently and give sacrificially, what you notice is it sets you free from your love, like from fear of money. And you notice God responding to your generosity. You're like, oh, hey, I'll give. And then you notice, gosh, man, I have more than enough. I have more than enough in more. It's amazing the way that affects us when we learn to live that way. So anyway, but we do have this situation where we are getting money from the Midwest Missions Alliance in order to be able to supplement Dan's salary. Because the contribution has gone up and really stayed up, it's not paying for his whole salary anymore. Now it's paying for about 60% of Dan's salary. I would love, and we were talking with the board felt the same way. Hey, wouldn't it be great if we could be self-sufficient in this area? Because we never know, at some point at the Midwest Missions Alliance might say to us, they might say, well, you know what? that money that we're giving you for Dan, you know what, we're going to have to give it somewhere else. And then at that point, we may have to have this conversation, or Dan may have to find a new city to move to. Just so you know, I mean, those are real. If you live in the ministry, there's a little bit of you feel like you're dangling out there a little bit. You know, there's not things like corporate security when you live in the ministry within the church. So anyway, I would love to see our church be able to make up that difference. It would be about $3,000 a month. Now, how would we do that? Real practically, and this is something I've been practicing for years, is kind of in the end of the year, we're coming into December, I'm thinking, okay, I'll go up another $10 next year, or $10 a week, or maybe I'll go up $15 a week. Never more than 10 or 15 a week. But I've done it like over and over and over again, so that eventually, wow, I feel really good about the sacrificial level of giving that I'm giving. Now, maybe I'm losing treasure in heaven by even telling you all this, right? Like I want to keep it secret. I don't really even know how, but I just want you to know, if there's many people here who give regularly and sacrificially, I want you to think, can you give $10 more a week over the course of the year? Every time I do it, I think, man, can I really do that? And then I do it, and I feel like, oh, gosh, that was nothing. And then I'll do it again, and I'm like, and then I realize how far I've come over the course of time. Now, if you're in a situation where you just don't have that money, I'm not asking for it, and I'm not even asking for it. I'm like saying, hey, if it's on your heart, and you see the need to, hey, let's try to make up the difference so that Dan's not hanging out there. And Dan's not, I don't know, he's not hanging out in the wind. Like the MMA is really fired up about Dan. So they like giving us the money. However, it's not the same as if we're totally taking care of our staff. So I just want to put that before you, put that before the church. It would be great if you could, those of you who give consistently, if you would consider giving a little more consistently going forward. A one-time big collection doesn't solve the problem. It's more of a raising of the income. Now, if you're new and you haven't been giving, hey, start giving. This is a great place to start. This is a great time. Remember, the things that you're receiving, including your salvation and fellowship and all that the church has to offer, all that comes because there's ministry staff and there's people who are devoted, and all of that is a gift that comes because people are sacrificial both financially and with their time. So guys, let's wrap it up. I can't tell you, it's 2025 is coming to an end. I'm not really sure what year I'm in. 2025 is coming to an end. Super proud of the church. It's really amazing, and I'm super grateful to God for all that he's been able to do through us as a group. We have some great plans coming forward. If there's something really, Carol and I and Dan are putting together the robust calendar for next year. If there's some kind of event you want to throw into the hat, we can't promise your event, but if there's an event, you're like, oh, hey, we've never done this. We've never done a tandem bike race or something like that. You're like just all about a tandem bike race. Hey, come and talk to Carol and I. We'll figure that out. But let's have a great Christmas season, and let's have a great 2026. And we are finished for the evening. Guys, our service is done. Ready? Great. And the reason the baptistry is up here is because we're most likely having a baptism on Sunday. Right?